Hello and welcome to today's live. It's a thing that we do every Wednesday. What I like to remind you is that when the recording's over, it's going to stay up on Instagram for a little while and then it goes on the podcast. The podcast is called Decoding Attachment Style. So if you join a little late and you don't catch it all, just know that all of the recordings go up on the podcast about 2 to 3 hours after it's recorded. I'm just going to give you guys a little time to get in here. Really interesting questions. I've got a ton of questions, so I'm going to try to get through them. Let me know where you're coming in from, and feel free to send me your messages. Again, if you miss the live, feel free to send me your messages, and I'll answer them on the podcast. One of the things I'm thinking of doing is increasing the number of podcasts I do. Just because you've got so many questions coming in and, I feel like the information's needed. Thank you so much to those of you who reach out to let me know that the work helps you. It keeps the information. I need to know what is working for you so that I could provide more information as it relates to a particular topic. So it's helpful when you comment on the posts, give me an idea of what's going on in your life and how I can assist you. And usually what happens, I've been seeing this a lot, where people are reaching out and they're saying, I can't believe so many of us are going through the same thing at the same time. How is it you know the script? How is it you're saying, you have these characters saying exactly what I've heard or what I've said? And that is because I've spent many years not just studying the theory of attachment style, but really studying people, listening to them, asking questions, looking at body language. So there's a lot. It's not easy to tell if someone's got an avoidant or an anxious attachment style by just looking at them. But if I can learn it, if I could learn to look at someone and tell within 30 seconds to 2 minutes what their attachment style is, I have no doubt that you could do the same. And so I'm here trying to push out as much information as I possibly can. But what is important is for you to sit with the information. A lot of my healing from an anxious attachment style was to spend really hours just sitting there with a pen and paper. I've got so many happening, like this book. See how thick it is? I still sit and work through some of my triggers with a pen and paper. And it really helps to work through some of the healing of our triggers. Once you two attached, and after some time you feel nothing, why? I don't understand the question. I'm going to ask you to rephrase the question so I could get to it in a little bit. So I'm going to get straight into how to avoid procrastination. All right, that's a quick one. Procrastination, when we're not interested in something, we will procrastinate. If we don't see the benefit of doing something, we will procrastinate. So it helps when we ask, why are we procrastinating? And then you could come up with a reason like, oh, this is just too boring. I'd rather do something else. And the other question to get you to actually do the thing, how will I benefit after doing this? Or what would I miss out on if I don't do this thing? Those are the simplest ways of actually of stopping the procrastination. Mel Robbins also, she's got this 5-second rule: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You just count backwards and just get up and do the thing. You find that after you start doing the thing that you've been procrastinating, momentum builds. But those are three ways. Tragic when I lost both who loved me and one I loved. It sounds like regret there. I'm going to get to the questions. What are the signs that an avoidant ex is forever gone and a relationship has ended? What are the signs that an avoidant ex is forever gone and a relationship has ended? What I find to be very troubling, and this is no judgment, I've been in this position many, many times, is that we focus more on what the other person is doing, what the other person wants, and less about how we feel. And so a breakup happens and the mind goes to, are they thinking about me? Do they want to be with me again? Are they going to come back? Should I wait? Should I reach out? Especially if you have an anxious attached mind. This isn't to say that the avoidant attached does not go through the same thought process. It's just when they start to. An avoidant attached person will feel relief when a relationship ends because they might have felt overwhelmed and pressured in a relationship. So they're like, oh gosh, finally I could breathe. I could go hang out with my friends and not be questioned about it. I could watch TV and not be accused that I'm out with somebody else or I'm doing something I shouldn't. So, oh, thank God this person's gone. I can relax. Shortly after, what happens is they start to wonder, ooh, am I making the right decision? This person was actually good. I do miss this person. I don't like how I felt in the relationship, but I do miss this person. And that takes a while, depending on the stresses that person felt in the relationship. Now, the anxious attached will immediately start thinking about how to win the other person back, how to bring them back in the relationship. And that's what we're going through right now with this question, wondering if this person's really gone forever and how you know that the relationship has ended. The short answer is the relationship has ended and you want it to end. You see, we could be in a relationship with one person and have multiple relationships with that very one person. What I mean by that is every time there's a breakdown in the relationship, what you used to know, that person is no longer that person. You're no longer that person. You want to be growing. You want to continuously evolve. And if you're evolving every week, something new is changing. You're learning how to set boundaries. You're learning how to put yourself first. You're learning what true self-care really means week after week. You're also changing. Now, when there's a break in the relationship, you get back together, you don't want to be the same person because what's going to happen is you'll have the same results. So the relationship has ended. Come to peace with that. Now, whatever happens in the future, you want to flow into it. Allow that thing to happen. See, a lot of times we get into relationships and we're hoping, we don't like change, and we're hoping that the relationship will never, ever change, or it will never end. And that is impossible. The only definites that we have about life is that we're born, there's a beginning, and we die, there's an end. Everything else that happens is just you living. So what you really want to do is learn how to be present. What can you do right now as you're going through this breakup? You can learn to heal your triggers. You can reflect upon the past, reflect upon the relationship you've had with the person. Ask yourself, what did I do that I'm not so proud of? How can I change this in the future? For many of us, it's boundaries. I did not set my boundaries. I showed up too much. I was desperate. I was always going to their place and they're never coming to my place. And I built up resentment. I was giving too much. I was buying too many presents and they never gave me. So what can I do differently in the future? Because what I've done in the past did not work. What can I do differently? Well, what I've noticed is that in the beginning, when I was busy and I was with my friends and I was doing things for myself, that's when they really showed interest. That's when they really wanted to be in my company. How can I maintain being an individual, being myself, doing things that's best for me as I continue in a relationship with someone else? That is usually the thing that we want to do. A lot of us don't know how to be with ourselves in a relationship. You can be in a relationship. You can do things with your partner, but also do things by yourself. It's all right to do things by yourself and let them be. Okay? So One, the relationship has ended. And should they come back, be in flow. Just focus on what's going on right now. And then you can adapt, adjust when they return. What I mean by that is the relationship's ended. You're now working on yourself. You try to bring your mind to you every time you think about, oh, what are they doing? Are they going to reach out? No. What am I doing? Can I reach within? Can I work on myself? And then should they return, you'll know how to approach them then, because hopefully you'll be in a better position to make better decisions for yourself. You know, I used to hear about this self-love thing that you can't love another person until you love yourself. And it's true. We put a lot of pressure on the other person because we haven't learned how to be by ourselves, how to do things by ourselves. I'll give you a quick example. My partner is into sports and he'll watch the games. Does it mean that I have to sit there and watch the games with him? Yes, sometimes I like to. Sometimes it's fun. But sometimes I want to go to a Broadway show. Sometimes I want to go to the movies. Sometimes I want to go to live theater. Sometimes I want to go to opera. Sometimes I just want to sit at home and play my guitar by myself. And that is okay. You don't have to be with the other person all the time. That generally happens when we're afraid that if we're not with them all the time, they're going to forget about us. They're going to cheat on us. They're going to think that, oh, maybe this relationship is not for me and I want to leave. Let them be. That's a part of your healing. When you know that you're the prize, when you know that you're worthy of love and you are valuable in someone's life, it's okay if someone else doesn't quite get it as yet. Maybe they're not for you. Okay? So, focus on you. And yes, the relationship ended. You get back together, you'll make a decision back then, and you'll start a whole new relationship with that individual. Another question statement. A man has been living a double life. He has been in 2 relationships while messaging other women. I'm with him. What should I do? There isn't a textbook on an individual. Correction. There isn't a textbook written by someone else on an individual. I don't have the textbook to your life, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I'm not here to tell you what is right and what is wrong. I'm here to help you figure out what you or what should be okay for you, depending on you, not me. I've got my own way of going through from the time I was born to whenever I leave this planet. I have my path. I've figured out my path. I stay in a place of present and flow. I try to be as present as possible. Where am I? What am I doing? What do I have control of? And whatever happens next, I'll deal with it then. I'm not going to think about it right now because it doesn't exist. If I worry about the future, it's just in my head. It does not exist. Now, a person living a double life, we all have double and triple lives. Each human being. I'm a mother. That's one life. I have friends. That's another life. I'm here working with you. It's another life. My partner and I, it's another life. I've got many lives happening at the same time. When someone is in a relationship with 2 people, they have a life with that person, they have a life with the other person, and they have a life with themselves. So in this case, the person is involved in a relationship, in 2 relationships at the same time, and that person is messaging multiple women while in relationships with 2 people. What do you want to do? Does this work for you? Are you someone who's comfortable in a relationship like this? One thing I can clearly say is that you can't change a person. You can't make a person do a thing that you want them to do. What you have to do is see the individual for who they are. Now, someone here says, fearful avoidants are selfish. Every human being is selfish. I come from an anxious attachment style. And I could look into my past and I could see that I was also selfish in the relationship, but I didn't see it because I thought getting them the gifts, wanting to spend time with them, doing the things, neglecting myself for their happiness was me being selfless. But no, what I was doing was I was giving them the gifts so they could see that I'm a nice person and give me the attention that I wanted. What I could see now is that I was showing up for them because I wanted them to see that I was the best fit for them so that they won't leave me. And then I was getting upset with them because they're not giving me the thing that would make me happy. It's like I'm saying, you're selfish for not putting aside your needs for mine. So every human being, when we have an unhealed wound, we're all selfish. As human beings, without being a little selfish, we're not going to survive, or we're not going to survive in a way we want to survive. You see, the whole thing about self-love is selfish. Selfish is not a negative thing. What is negative is when we neglect ourselves and we're giving and giving and giving and we're not selfish. And then we resent the other person. So we are all selfish. This isn't about an avoidant or an anxious attachment style. We are all the same. We feel the same. We just act and react differently because we want to survive. How can I learn to soothe myself as an anxious attachment? Let me think about how best I want to respond to that for a sec. So I'll share how I went about it. I was going through a breakup and I so badly wanted to reach out to him. I wanted to jump in the car and go for a long drive. I wanted to fly somewhere to find comfort. I wanted to go out. And I wanted to reach out. So it was either I wanted to reach out or I wanted to do anything to distract myself from the pain. And I realized if I continued with this, if I continued being reactive to my triggers, it's never going to end. I'm going to live the rest of my life doing this thing that I don't want to do. So you're feeling rejected in a relationship and you know it's a sucky feeling to call this person and beg. It's a sucky feeling. And then there's this part of you that says, but you have to explain yourself. You have to, because they're going to forget you. And you just know that this is the best relationship you've ever had. And what I did was I said, you know what? No. Let's just ride this out. Let's ride out this feeling and see what happens next. And I sat in my bed. I sat and I told myself, I'll just sit for 5 minutes. And after the 5 minutes, I still had that feeling. And I said, okay, let's do this for another 5 minutes. Let's see how this feels after another 5 minutes. And there were times when I sat in that bed for 4 to 5 hours, just sat there with the discomfort, refusing to move. And I played a game with myself. I said, if I reach out, then I lose. And I'm very competitive. I did not want to lose. If I reach out, I lose. And I'm constantly telling myself, I deserve love. My past is not my story. The rejection I felt from parents who tried to show up for me as much as they could in my childhood, that is not my present. It is my past that needs to be worked out. Who I am now is worthy of love, and I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing. I'm just going to sit here and deal with this feeling that I have inside. And the more I did it, day after day after day, my body started to see, hey, wait a second. You're okay. You're not going to die. This is fine. In every moment, something new happens. A friend calls, you go out, you laugh, you come home, you miss him, but you're okay. And so my body got into the habit of staying still, waiting to see how time plays out. And that's a part of flow, learning to stay in flow, learning to be present. Okay, I'm here. What's going on? What can I control? What I can't control, I'll just let it be. I'll flow into it whenever that happens. That's a place that I would strongly recommend everyone start with. I'm not going to give you a list of things to do. Start with this one. Focus on one thing, because when your body learns to manage just one thing, then you start to realize you're capable of anything. So start in this one place. You're not going to die. If you feel like you're getting too anxious, breathe. Deep breaths. Remind yourself, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm right here. I'm going to be okay. I'm just writing this out. You're training your body for something it's not used to. Now, for an avoidant attached person, your comfort is staying back. Your comfort is, I'm going to stay away from this person because if I reach out, I can be rejected. And that is terrifying. It is as terrifying as the anxious attached person not reaching out. So both have the same feelings, the same heavy, anxious feeling. The anxious attached feels incredible anxiety when they can't reach out. The avoidant attached feels incredible anxiety when they feel like they have to reach out. Both are feeling the same way. They're just reacting differently. So the anxious attached needs to learn to sit still with those feelings and learn that you're going to be okay. The avoidant attached, you need to learn to push through the fear and reach out to create the connection. And it's not going to be easy. It was not easy, and it is not easy at all times now to maintain it. And we'll talk about maintaining it another time. There is a post on my Instagram that just went up that talks about how do you maintain boundaries? And it's not maintaining boundary with another person. It's to work on yourself. That's the hardest. You think it's difficult to get someone else to do something you want to make you happy? You have no idea how hard it is to maintain the boundary with yourself so you can make yourself happy. And maybe that's why a lot of us choose to try to force someone else to change to make us happy. Maybe there's a part of us that know that it is not easy for us to do it for ourselves. But, like I've said many times, if I can do it, I know you can. Do avoidant people honestly love and care about you, or is it just a game? Avoidant attached humans are humans just like a secure attached, just like an anxious attached. We all have feelings. Unless there is damage to the brain that prevents us from having emotions, we all have feelings. We all want connection. Now, a dismissive avoidant, they don't believe they need connection. They don't need to be in a relationship. Someone with a fearful avoidant attachment style, they want connection, but they want their independence as well. And an anxious attached wants connection. Everyone feels. An avoidant attached person is not a robot. Yes, they may appear stoic, but there's so much that happens on the inside. And I've heard so many stories. There was a time when I actually, while I was going through my healing, I flipped over into an avoidant, and then I had to manage that, and that's for another time. But I know what it feels like to to be afraid of being vulnerable. There's feelings like you want to tell this person you love them, but you're afraid that if you say, I love you, then they're just going to take you for granted. They're going to take advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of the fact that now you love them, and they may just abuse that. So there's a lot of fear that an avoidant attached person will feel. To be securely attached, it's just to manage those emotions. So yes, an avoidant attached person feels love and they do feel care. However, because they've learned how to take care of themselves and they've learned that they can't depend on anyone to really be there for them, they focus on self-preservation. See, for the anxious attached person, they believe that they need a community to feel safe. I need people to take care of me so I could feel safe. We're talking about tribes here. We're talking about centuries of human being existence. I need a tribe to feel safe. So I need a mommy, a daddy, a sibling, all of these people. An avoidant attached is like, no, I can't trust any one of them. Because at any time they could tell me that they're going to take care of me, but then they're going to abandon me. So I have to figure out how to take care of myself, how to protect myself, how to protect my environment. And I can't bring them too close to me because yes, they could tell me that they love me. But if I don't give them what they want, they'll stab me in the back and they'll leave me there to bleed out. Okay? A secure attached person is going to say, okay, it's nice to have connections, but I'm not going to trust this person completely because I appreciate they're human beings. And they're also going to want to protect themselves, and that's okay. So I'm going to be okay with connection, but I'm not going to be disappointed, and I'm not going to hold it against you when you do something that hurts me, but it was the intention to protect yourself. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm just going to say, you know what? You did what you had to do, and that's all right. It doesn't mean that you don't love me. It means that you protected yourself first. Okay? So that's the difference with the two. One is the secure attached is saying, yes, I'm okay with connection. And then there's the independent part of the secure that says, but I'm still going to take care. I'm still going to watch out for myself. Sure, you could promise me, but I'm still going to watch out for myself. That is the difference. The thing with the anxious attached, avoidant attached, they're on the extremes. The anxious attached is, I cannot do this on my own. I need people. The avoidant attached is, I cannot trust people. I need to do this on my own. And secure attached is, it's nice to have people, but I'm also going to watch out for myself. Okay. Question, how frequently are my Instagram lives? It's every Wednesday right now at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I have awareness that I'm an anxious attached person and my partner is fearful avoidant, how can I make this work? You work on self-soothing. You work on your triggers, your need for validation, which often comes because we don't see our worth and our value. Write a list of things that you bring to the relationship. Are you caring, compassionate, thoughtful, great gift giver? All of these things, just write them down. Are you into your self-development? The fact that you asked this question, you are. So that's a plus on your side. And then on the other side, write lists, right? A list of what do I bring to the relationship? Who am I in relationships? And on the other side, what is it you're not so proud of with yourself that you want to work on, that you want to improve on? It might be, I don't know, picking up a hobby that you've been meaning to do, procrastinating. So you're going to push through and you're going to do that thing. And you write that list down and you start working on the list. Self-soothing. I'm not happy that I don't know how to self-soothe. You put that down on the list. Now here's what you're going to do. The list that you still have to work on, don't look at it as a negative, because now that you recognize that there are things on a list that you need to work on, that is a positive. It's an awareness. It's a part of your awareness. So now on your plus list, you say, oh, I'm actually aware that these are the things I need to work on. So the fact that I'm a person who works on myself is another plus in my bucket. So what you're doing is you're building yourself up. You're falling in love with yourself, just like you would when you're going on a date. You're like, oh my gosh, this person's so cute. They have a beautiful smile. They're so smart. They have a great job. They're good at sport. You're building up their list. Now you want to build up your own. Focus on you. Fall in love with you. And when you fall in love with you, when you see that you are this masterpiece that you've created so far and you're continuing to work on, it's like a painting. It's great as it is, but we're going to keep improving on it. We're going to paint this for the rest of our lives. Then you start to see that you are worthy to be in someone's house. I'm using the analogy of a painting right now. You are worthy to be in someone's house. Now, not everyone will appreciate the same painting, and that's all right. You let them be. And I could talk about a painting that, let's use Michelangelo because that's popular, that I love, and then someone comes, I don't get it. Don't get upset with them. That's all right. You just keep working on it. Work on yourself. When you fall in love with yourself, the other thing that happens naturally when you fall in love with yourself is, are you going to allow anyone to scratch the painting? Are you going to allow anyone to hurt you when you realize that you've worked so hard on yourself to become who you've become? You love yourself so much. Would you allow anyone to hurt you? You see, we're better. I use analogies of things like a painting because somehow our mind can put a value to something, an object, more than it does to ourselves. Right? Let's say you have a piece of jewelry. You love it. Your mother gave it to you, and your mother no longer exists. You're going to protect it. You're not going to let anyone just come in and knock it about and throw it away. But that's because you see the value in the thing. It's something handed down. You were handed down from your parents. You're loved, but you just don't know it. And so you chase people to see it. I'm chasing you. Oh, please see the value of this painting. Please see the value of me. If you know your value, you don't care if they see it. You're not settling for crumbs. If I've got a painting to sell to you and I say this painting's worth $100 and you don't see the value and you're like, no, I'm just going to give you 25. If I see the value of it, I say, no, I'm not going to take your 25. I know what the value is. And you'll probably say, okay, fine, I'll give you 50. If I cave, if I say, fine, I'll take 50, it means I never knew the value of it in the first place. But if I really do, I will insist that you give me my 100. And then I'll be fine. I'll say, you know what? It's all right. You probably can't afford to. You probably don't have the capacity to give me what it is I am asking for. I'll go find somebody else. I know I probably digress from the question. Let's get back to it. But yeah, that's how you heal your attachment style. You heal your anxious attachment style, and then everything else just falls into place. First, find your value. Find what you bring to a relationship, what you bring to people's lives. Oh, and how to make it work. When you're focused on you, what naturally will happen is that the people in your life will see that you prioritize yourself, and not just on a psychological level, on an energetic level as well. They will feel a knowing that they can't mess with you, because you'll be comfortable. When you fall in love with yourself, you'll be comfortable with saying, can't come over tonight. I'm tired. I really need rest. Because you start to see that your sleep is important. And then they start to think, oh my gosh, I really got to make extra effort and extra time to be with this person, because they're putting themselves first. So a part of working on your attachment style and how it helps your relationship with an avoidant attached person is by focusing on you. Now, also, if you're so focused on yourself, you're also inadvertently giving an avoidant attached person the space they need. They don't have to feel pressured. And so they want to be around you. They're happier being around you. Another question, how to not be a manipulator. We're all manipulators. We have to be. The problem is some people manipulate to hurt others. Think about it this way. You're going on a date. Do you go there in your pajamas, your slacks and t-shirt? If you're female and feminine, do you go there without your makeup, your hair done? Do you just go there sloppily? No. You think about what's going to make you look good. Why? If you're coming from an unhealed attachment style, then you're going there because you want to impress. What is impressing? Impressing is manipulating. You go for an interview. You research the company. You learn. You practice. What's the best thing to say? You have your friends help you with this. Your friends help you with your first date too. What should I wear? How should I look? How do I look? Right? It's all manipulation. In the world we're in, we're animals, right? We have to manipulate our environment. We have to study the environment, learn about it so that we can survive. Now, the problem is manipulating to hurt. And this is not something that everyone does. I know we tend to think that the avoidant attached or the anxious attached is out to manipulate us. Yes, there is manipulation. In giving a present, sometimes there is manipulation. If we don't pull ourselves back and ask, well, why am I really giving this present? Do I just really want them to like me? Or is it something I think they need? I know they need this thing and I'm right here and I see it. And now it's a thoughtful gift. But again, could they afford it? Could they get it on their own? Could they just buy it on Amazon? Why am I getting it? Am I putting myself out? Am I... it's $20 for this thing. It's $20 too much for me to spend right now, but I'm still going to do it. Why? That's manipulation. So manipulation can be very, very subtle. We don't see it, but we're all doing it. Now, if we're manipulating to hurt someone, which is more narcissistic, and I don't mean like regular narcissism that everyone's got. Narcissism, the personality, the disorder of narcissism, then that's a different thing. Because we're now learning about avoidant attachment style and we're seeing that similarity in terms of behaviors with an avoidant attachment and narcissism, we tend to think that everyone's a narcissist. But when it comes to the two, and I'm just going to shove this in quickly, the difference between narcissism and avoidant attachment style is that in the case of a narcissist, there is no empathy. There's no ability to feel empathy. With an avoidant attached style person, there is empathy. Now, if you want to know more about this, there's a topic on this on the podcast, and also there's an article on the website, the difference between the two. But, unless it's a case of narcissism, full-blown narcissism, you're not really coming up with a whole lot of people who are manipulating you to hurt you. Manipulating you to hurt you are more cases of narcissism, psychopathic, sociopathic behaviors. We're talking serial killers and that sort of thing. Anxious and avoidant? Yes, you're manipulating each other. Secure attached style people? Yeah, we're manipulating. We have to manipulate in business. Right now, I am in some way manipulating, right? How am I getting this message over to you? And what is it that I want you to get from this? I want you to get a message. It's a particular way. The way I show up here. This isn't how I am all day, but I present myself. It's a form of manipulation. Why? Why do I manipulate you with paying attention to how my hair looks or jewelry? It's because I need to present myself in a particular way so that you would pay attention. We're all manipulating. What we want to be careful of is looking for manipulation with intent to hurt. We either hurt or we heal. Now you choose based on how you feel. Some of you are going to stay on here because you're learning something, you're feeling good. And those of you who are not feeling good, who are triggered, are going to leave. Either way, it's good because you're making a choice for yourself. When it comes to harmful manipulation, your body's going to feel it. You're going to pick up on it. That's that's where boundary setting comes in. That's when you know that, okay, it doesn't feel good. I need to walk away from this. I need to walk away. All right. Let me see if I could. Can I expect some support from my avoidant partner when I'm at my low? We are in early stage, so he shuts down for 1 week after knowing I need support. Let me answer that one. Just give me 1 second. Okay. It depends on what we're going to our partner for. What we have to come to terms with. I know, we say, oh, we want a partner. We want a partner to spend the rest of our lives with. There are times when we put too much pressure on a human being. We have to see the person for who they are and either accept that or walk away. Do you want a partner who is a therapist, but this person actually works in a sweatshop? Your partner cannot be your therapist. My partner cannot be my therapist. Can that person hear me or listen to me? Perhaps. But can they give me advice? Can they tell me the things that I want to? No. And probably my therapist may not be able to do that either. Who are your friends? Can you turn to a friend? What are you talking to your partner about? If you're talking to your partner about your very hard day, let's consider they might have had a hard day at work too, right? Who are we turning to for support? Our partner cannot be everything. They can't be our mother. They can't be our father. They can't be our best friend. They can't be our therapist, a sibling, a co-worker. They can't be everything in our lives. So what I would advise is, we see our partner for who they are. What is it we like about them? There are certain things that we enjoy doing with a partner. Stick with that. Don't try to make them into something more than they actually are. And people will say, oh, but this is not a healthy relationship dynamic. No, if you're with an anxious attached person or an avoidant attached person, you're not in a healthy dynamic. We have to look at the reality of this. You're dealing with a brain makeup. Don't try to change it. Don't try to change another person's brain makeup. You have to see this for what it is and decide, does it work for me or not? And an avoidant attached person can be a very sweet, caring, loving person. Why not just focus on that? Why focus on the things that, okay, I want to talk to my partner about my work and my business. And this has happened. There are times when I could talk about it, but I also know you only go in small doses. Hey, this is what happened today. Small dose. But if I want to talk about growing my business, I go to a friend of mine who's already grown her business. And I say, hey, I want to run an idea by you. What do you think about this? Because I know that's the person for it. And if I want to talk about spirituality, even though my partner is into meditating and self-help and all of it, that's not the person I could go and have a full-blown deep conversation about energy interaction with for about half an hour or an hour. But I do have a friend I could call for that. Not the business one, the other one. And I call her and I say, hey, let's have a discussion about this thing whenever you have time, whenever you're available. Right? So you have to know who you're going to. The analogy I generally use for this is, don't go to your hairdresser when they've only studied how to cut and fix hair and ask them to fly you to a different country. They're not going to be your pilot. We have to see people for who they are and accept that. And then that takes away the frustration from us. Oh, why can't you listen to me? I don't have the capacity for it. Now, yes, we would think, why can't the avoidant attached person communicate about this? That's because it's hard to communicate. It is not easy for us to communicate. No matter how healed we may get, it is still very difficult to communicate, to know when and how to say it. Unless you have always had a securely attached brain, these things are very, very difficult. I've been on this healing path for a long time, and there are many times when I have to pause when I'm having a heavy conversation with my partner. And I know what the words are. I know what I want to say. They're in my head. But for some reason, well, I know the reason. And I'll share that with you in a sec. the brain shuts off. Okay. There's a part of the brain that's affected when a person has stroke and they're unable to speak. It's called a BRCA. It gets damaged, and trauma, emotional trauma also affects that area of the brain. So when you're triggered, sometimes the words are in your head. You want to say them, but you can't get them out. You just can't get them out. And so a lot of times I'm sitting there, and you would think with all these years of healing, I should be able to just blurt things out, right? No, because when you want to speak and speak clearly, and you know that when the words escape your mouth, that's it. You're done. Now you want to make sure you get it right. And so a lot of times, and this happens a lot with the avoidant attached person's brain, they shut down. The words are there. They're unable to get it out. The reason I recognize it is because now I could slow down from being anxious attached and letting everything just fly out of my mouth. I've learned how to slow down and think about how I want to respond. And in that thinking of how I want to respond, getting in my head and trying to get the right message out, it prevents me from speaking. And while I'm thinking of what to say, nothing moves. And I have to point to my partner. I have to show him that that's usually how I respond when we're talking, sitting there. I would say, and he'd say, "It's okay, babe, take your time." Okay. So communication is not, easy, for us. How did I get there? But never mind. I hope you get the message. With telling a dismissive avoidant, I now see my patterns in our disconnection, and break up with them, help mend things. Oh, we were just talking about manipulation. That is manipulation with intent to fix a problem. It is not manipulation with intent to hurt. The intention there is, if I tell this person, okay, I see the problem, I'm done with this, there's a hope that the person is going to get their act together and work things out. What you're really doing there is you are telling this other person that I'm going to throw a tantrum when I can't get what I want, and I'm going to leave you. And that confirms for the avoidant that I can't trust you. So you're going to come back into the relationship. You may get back together, but that person already sees a pattern. And so it takes a much longer time to trust. So don't break up to send a message across if you intend on getting back together. Have the heavy, hard conversation to see what happens. Now, again, there's a difference with dismissive and fearful avoidant. A fearful avoidant may come back. Trust is going to be much harder to build. A dismissive avoidant, it would be much harder to get that person back, if ever you're able to, because these are people who are very, very rigid in their boundaries. They do not tolerate anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. So they could very well leave for good. They don't need relationships. Remember that. They don't need relationships. You can't convince them. Is there a way to reignite the spark after you've lost interest, or should you give up? The spark remains if you continue being an individual in the relationship. The spark remains if you continue being someone who's comfortable doing things by yourself. Let's say you're taking a dance class and you're doing that by yourself. Your partner has the space to miss you. Your partner has the time to think or wonder oh, this person's out there. They're dancing with a multitude of people. What if that there's somebody there that flirts with my partner? So your partner keeps showing up. We take people for granted when we just see them sitting on the couch morning, noon, and night. We get bored. It's just who we are. No, it's not whether it's a healthy attachment or not. It's just who we are as human beings. A secure attached person can long for a great pair of shoes, save up forever for a great pair of shoes, buy a shoe. The only time that they appreciate the shoe is if the shoe is in the closet and they see it every now and again. But if they walk in and the shoe is right there on the table every day, they have no interest in it. It's just, that's a human thing. Would they appreciate the shoe there? Yeah. but not necessarily get excited about it. Okay, so that's a human thing. So get busy with your own life. I believe that you need 2 days with friends. We're talking about a week span here. 2 days with your friends, 2 days with your partner, 2 days by yourself. And one day you choose what you want to do with that day. You get to choose. And you could do this while living together as well. You can be living together and go to the bookstore by yourself. Go have dinner by yourself. And that keeps your relationship interesting and fresh. Why can't an avoidant attached person tell their ex to leave them alone and go away? Avoidant attached persons care about how people see them. They need that validation. They need to know that they've not done anything wrong. And when they go through breakup with exes, they're often afraid that, I've done something wrong. I've hurt this person. It doesn't feel good. Does that mean that they want to be with that person again? Not necessarily so. But they generally feel guilt and regret and remorse from time to time. And so, and not only that, what we have to remember is that they've had a good relationship at some point. This has been an individual in their life, and more than likely they dated someone who's got an anxious attachment style. That would have been a, very caring, sweet, attentive person. Them being with you does not take away that fact. When you become securely attached, then it doesn't matter if they're talking to their ex or exes or whomever. What you're going to know is that, yes, you could still care about someone who's been a part of your life, who's been a part of your journey, but it doesn't mean that you're going to leave me to go to them, because I trust that this might be the best thing for you. However, at the time, might be the best thing for you at the time. However, if you can't appreciate me in your life and you choose to go to somebody else, there's nothing I could do about it. I'm not going to beat up on myself about it. I know it's scary, and I know it's, it can raise insecurities. Again, it is a personal thing. What we have to do is see that the avoidant attached person has a hard time setting boundaries. All right. And that's their healing work to do. Yours is to set the boundary with yourself. For some people, you could be comfortable with it. Generally, a secure attached person will not find it threatening. And they will set boundaries according to their needs. But for an anxious attached person, this is one of the things you want to work on. Is it right or is it wrong? Do you have to accept their exes or not? That's entirely up to you. That is entirely up to you. What about this that bothers you, and how do you set the boundaries with it? It might be that they have an ex and they're sharing absolutely everything about your life with the ex. Then how do you accommodate that? How do you protect yourself? Do you still want to be with the person? Okay, yes, I want to be with the person. I like this person, but I can't trust them because they run and they tell their ex everything. And don't tell them everything. Then you'll ask me, but how do you build a relationship? How do you build a healthy relationship with someone like that? Again, you don't, because we're not talking about healthy attachment styles. This is what it is. We save ourselves so many heartbreaks if we could look at the reality of things, appreciate, recognize, and accept that we have absolute control in how we approach relationships, what we do next, what we tolerate, what we don't, and move accordingly. When someone treats you badly, it's kind of like if someone gives you a gift, right? They're giving you, take the gift. You have a choice. You could say no, thank you. Or you could take it and resent them. It's entirely up to you. It's the same thing with people's behaviors. Question, what if the exes or friends are continually naughty texting your partner and they keep it going. If you know this, then that's disrespecting you. Now, one of the things I wanted to say is exes are always around. They're always around. They text, they wish happy birthday and whatever. It happens from time to time. You might hear from an ex 10 years down the road. This is my personal belief. As a partner in my relationship, my responsibility to the relationship is to protect that relationship, protect my partner's feelings. Do not bring that kind of disrespect into the relationship. And there are times when exes will reach out and exes will say whatever, send a naughty text, whatever is going on there. Okay. You can't control what the ex does, but the partner's responsibility is to keep you safe. And if you are seeing that kind of disrespect, then it is your responsibility to you to step away and do what's best for you. So we can't control what the ex is doing, and we can't control what the partner is doing, but you can control what you're doing. They say that they can't change. Okay. Well, they're telling you they can't change. It might not be the easiest thing to hear. You don't want to hear it. And it's not that they can't change. It's probably they don't have they don't believe they have the ability to change. They don't want to put in the effort to change. Change is not easy, not for everyone. It is not the easiest thing to do. It is painful because you have to look into life and it's going to be hurtful. You're going to cry. You're going to lose sleep. Healing is not the easiest thing to do. It takes a very brave, strong person to do it and keep doing it. There's a question here from one of you that I can't really get really deep into. It's about how do you know when you need to heal more? What I believe is that healing never ends. There's always something to heal from. Always. There are not just heartbreaks and boundaries and, validation and stuff like that. It's stuff like, it depends on who you want to be in the future. Who do you want to see yourself as on your deathbed? What do you want to look back and tell yourself? It can be, people are struggling with money issues, the relationship they have with money, the relationship they have with self-confidence, and that changes as you age, the relationship they have with their children, the relationship they have with spirituality. Healing never ends. So you don't want to put a limit on this, but you know what you need to heal from depending on what you're uncomfortable with. It depends on what you're uncomfortable with. It depends on what you're struggling with. That's how you know, okay, if I'm struggling with something, if I'm afraid of something, this is probably something I need to heal from, especially if it's affecting my life. And if a person says that they can't change, then, it's pretty much what I've been saying all along. See it for what it is. Either you accept it or you leave. There are two things you could do. You accept it for what it is and stop complaining, or leave and know that it's going to hurt. Either way, it's going to hurt if you're not happy. Leaving is going to hurt, but which one are you what would you rather compromise on? Do you want to adjust to living without them? Can you adjust to living without them? Or can you adjust to accepting the breadcrumbs, the disrespect, the less than? Which one are you willing to adjust to? Because at the end of it, that's the only choice. And, a question that I often get is, can a relationship between an anxious and avoidant attached person work? There was a time when I thought it might have, but no, one person at least has got to get on that healing journey. I know there are people who say that both need to heal. Not necessarily so, because the one who heals will learn how to set boundaries with themselves, which will more than likely create a shift in the other person's behavior. And regardless of what, I would suggest you work on your healing. So should the other person be upset that you're setting boundary and they need to leave, you will by then know that it is not a you thing. You don't have to take it personally. When an avoidant attach asks for space and we decide, okay, and in this time, what if she, oh yes, got someone else? That's generally a fear. If you feel like you have to be up under someone all the time so that they don't leave you, then perhaps that's not the person for you. If you have to feel like, oh my God, if I'm away from this person, they're going to forget me. I'm going to lose them. I mean, I had this conversation with a client recently, and he needed that message once a day to feel good. And I was like, okay, here's what. You get the message once. Okay. How long does that last? How long do you feel like, I asked, what do you feel when you get the message? Oh, this person's still there. They're thinking about me. Okay. How long does that last? About 5 minutes. So what you're saying to me is that you need this person to be texting you every 5 minutes so that you could feel safe and comfortable. If someone asks for space and they choose to go and see someone else, it means it's not the person for you. It's painful, but let them go. It is not the person that you want to build your life with, because it is not humanly possible to be that attached to another individual that's outside of you, that you weren't born attached to, if you know what I mean. It's not humanly possible. It is exhausting. And you don't want to be in that kind of relationship. So if you're uncomfortable giving someone space when they ask for it, then that's your healing work to do. I have so many other questions. They're going to be answered on the podcast. And like I said, I believe it's time that we increase the number of podcasts there so that I could get through these questions. Also, they're also being answered on YouTube. So there are 2 interviews that I did recently there. One with Coach Ryan. Most of you know who that is, as well as Naj. They're both incredible interviews on YouTube. Visit there. The podcast is called Decoding Attachment Style. There are also books on my website that I've written on how to navigate intimacy with attachment styles and how to go through a breakup, as well as a healing journal. Those are all on the website. I will see you guys again next Wednesday.